Now, I know we're a marketing agency that works with home service businesses. By the way, stoymedia.com, go ahead and book a call if you know how to sell. But I want to tell you, truthfully, 5 reasons why working with a marketing agency for your home service business just might not work out for you. And the truth is, and I'll go one by one. So if you really do want to, just skip to the last part of this video and I guess you'll see all 5. But I want to explain to you why and why you can actually change that, because the truth is plenty of people scale up to $2-3 million within 5 years with just referrals. We've seen it. But to get past that, there's a couple things that you got to do. And one of them is marketing. Now, first of all, the first reason on why you probably shouldn't work with an agency, or why, yeah, 5 reasons why you shouldn't work with an agency. And number 1 is if you can't sell. Well, I'll make this nice and large because it is so important. The truth is, your salespeople cannot be order takers. They can't just show up, take a couple measurements, and just hand the homeowner a quote. And worse, if you email it later and then just expect them to see it. I mean, when's the last time you've checked your personal inbox? I know a lot of home service businesses, owners, you're always checking your business email, but what about your personal ones? So the truth is, a lot of homeowners aren't looking at their personal ones. And if you're just being an order taker and you're only sending it over email, that's kind of like a huge drop off in close rate. And so if you cannot sell, you truly do not have a sales process that your salespeople follow step by step to close a deal, and not insurance, I'm talking retail, to step by step, you get the lead, you book the appointment. This is what you send them before you get to the appointment. On the appointment, this is what you say. This is how you handle objections. If you don't have a sales process and your salespeople cannot sell a cold lead, meaning someone coming from a source outside of referrals, if your salespeople cannot close, at a minimum 20%, maybe 30%, that's the average, but minimum 20% on a cold lead, which is someone not a referral, then I would categorize you as just not being able to sell, which there's a couple things you can do to fix that. I mean, first of all, you can hire a sales coach, which, by the way, we're not a sales coaching company. We're a marketing agency that works with home service businesses who can sell. So if you are interested, stoymedia.com, we work with roofers, remodelers, windows. Those are our main ones, by the way. But if you cannot sell, which is the number 1 reason why I wouldn't recommend you work with a marketing agency, then hire a sales coach. Build a sales process. Here, we'll put that as number 2. Build a sales process. I don't want to scribble this because I want you to really dial this in. Number 2 on why you probably shouldn't hire a marketing agency, we'll kind of go like this. Number 2 is you don't have any speed to lead. So here, we'll do no speed to lead. Truth be told, if you cannot book appointments, then you just, no matter if my marketing company sends you 100 leads over the following month, if you're not able to get back to leads within 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3, like within 5 minutes, everyone knows the study. Feel free to look this up. There are so many studies that show if you reach a lead after 5 minutes, your booking rate goes down like a couple 100%. So it's very serious. I really want to just put emphasis on this. If you cannot book leads, you have no speed to lead, you could ask us to have, of course, you can ask us to start booking your leads for you, have someone call your leads on time. But if you're not willing to financially commit to that, then I would still put you into the no speed to lead. You just can't call leads fast enough. And if you can't call leads fast enough, you're not able to book appointments. And if you're not able to book appointments, you're not going to get as many sales. So I just want to make that clear. And there's a couple fixes for this. You can hire agency to do that. Hire agency, which, by the way, our agency includes lead callers into a lot of our retainers. But the truth is, one of them is just you can hire an agency, or you could pay $50,000 a year. So you could pay like $50K a year to a receptionist, which is just, they'll be able to call all of your, they'll be able to pick up all the inbound calls, which, by the way, if I'll release a video about it soon, but if you can optimize your Google business profile, you can realistically start getting free leads. Just looking up roofing company and you show up on Google Maps and they click on you, you could realistically start getting some free inbound calls, which turn into free appointments. But you could spend $50K a year to do a receptionist. Now, I know a lot of companies, and also companies that I trust and have worked with, well, not have worked with, but that we are affiliated with, have AI solutions for this, but this is more for outbound. You're able to call a lead. I mean, I don't even think people realize this. If you can call a lead within 2 to 3 minutes, you can realistically get a 60 to 70% booking rate. So out of 10 leads that come in, you can book 7. I just wanted to make sure I put up 7. You can book 7 appointments. And if you have at least a 30% close rate, that could mean 2, maybe 1 full sale, which could mean $15,000 if you're in roofing. And you know your ticket, by the way. So if you don't have any speed to lead, do not work with an agency. Another one, and it turns out that we may have to get rid of all of this at the end to actually fit in 5. But if this is the first one, can't sell. Number 2, you have no speed to lead. Number 3, if you're just not willing to put in some type of effort, if an agency is just something you're doing to check off a box of marketing, just so when your buddies ask you, how's the company going, you say, like you have someone to blame that your company isn't growing, then don't work with a marketing agency. So if you're not going to put in any effort, so we'll say no effort. Now, by the way, I just want to make this clear. A marketing agency is here so that you don't have to put in all of the effort. But if you want to get good creatives, you want to grow your brand also, because by the way, growing a brand, I don't know if I've released a video on this. If you grow a brand, your cost per lead can go down, meaning your $1,000 will be way more spent. You'll get more leads for your $1,000 compared to the guy who just opened up. And what I'm trying to say is you can get 2 to 3 times more results than someone who has no brand. They could be making the exact same amount as you. They could be just basically a carbon copy of your company. But if you have a brand, which by the way, I've released a video on how to grow a brand. If you have a brand, you can get 2 to 3 times the return. Like you can get 2 to 3 times the results that a carbon copy of your company that has no brand would get. So if you're not willing to put an effort to record creatives, now by the way, we make creatives for you if you're not willing to. But the truth is, the best creatives are the ones that you are going to make according to the way we've kind of recommended them, if that makes sense. So the way you could obviously do that is, or fix that, is put in effort, put effort in. Or you can hire someone to be your ads person. So they're your content person, they can record the ads. So you can hire someone, hire content manager who just works. And by the way, I've seen this work before. A content manager or ads type of someone assigned to working with the agency. Maybe it's called a relation manager. I've seen so many different titles for this, but a content manager who works with the marketing agency totally works out. The content manager can do your SEO, can do your YouTube, your Instagram, while building your brand, doing all that to build your brand. And the agency could just be getting the leads. And so I've seen that happen before. Now let's do number 4. And by the way, 5 is just going to be, I think we're just going to have to erase all this for number 5. So we'll just do a quick recap. If you can't sell, you have no speed to lead, or you don't put in any effort into your marketing, do not work with a marketing agency. Number 4, I know this is like a no-brainer. If you're not planning to grow the company, which by the way, we have unfortunately seen some people who are not planning on growing the company. They want to stay exactly where they are. They're not as big as they're just perfectly comfortable. So if you are, and I'll just do it down here. So if you're not willing to grow the company, you don't actually care about making more money or the company making more revenue, you being able to grow the company. It's not all about money. I just want to make that clear. But if you just aren't motivated to do it, I don't even think there's a fix for that one. It's kind of like the no effort one. If you don't want to, if you don't want to grow the company, don't hire an agency just to hire an agency. Stick with your referrals. It's kind of a really bad idea to actually stay with your referrals. And just to give you a reality check, staying at the exact same revenue is also going down, because if you factor in wages increasing, inflation, making the money you guys make less valuable, you're actually going like this. So you're slowly going down. Not to mention, I haven't released a video on this yet, but time and time again have I seen people who only rely on referrals eventually become nobody. The truth is, you can run on referrals for like 5 years, 10 years, but to get past that, you either need a lot of luck, you need a lot of this, or that you're just going to have to market, or else your company is just going to start slowly going down. I mean, I remember one time, I'm going to give this example as I started racing everything to show you number 5. We had this company who we were planning on doing SEO with, and about 1 year ago, they had been the number one for their very small, I mean, these people were in between 2 mountains. It was a great scenic route, I saw it, but the truth is, in this very small town, they used to be the number one in this small town in Washington. And about 3 years later, one of their employees left to go start a new roofing company. And this new employee had 150 reviews now. The initial company that I'm talking about had like maybe 60. They had been open for triple the amount of time. But this new roofing company now had 150 reviews because they actually asked everybody for reviews. And no, they didn't buy it. But I mean, I'm just assuming that they didn't buy it. But they were open for about 2 years, and they were just like this initial company that we spoke with and we were planning on doing SEO with, they had lost all of their rankings. They no longer had the money to hire an agency, because when they found out, okay, how much was it? They realized company's kind of going down, and as the company goes down, the profit goes down, the owner can't pay as much, and so they need to sacrifice their personal income in order to save the company, and most people aren't willing to do that, which, okay, then the company's just gonna go to nothing, and you're gonna have to start again, and you're gonna have to spend more money to start another company. But what I'm just trying to say is, this company, after, I think it was 20 years in business, 3 years ago, they were number one for every single SEO keyword for roofing in their small town. New guy opens up, 2 years later, dominating all of the SEO listings, advertising on Google, has triple the reviews that this initial company had, is just dominating in sales, closing more deals, making more money. And this company that I was speaking with couldn't even afford to do any SEO because they had waited so long. Mind you, 3 years ago, all the rankings went away. 3 years later, all the rankings go down. So now they're getting like half the leads. Now they're getting a quarter of the leads. Now they're getting an eighth of the leads. 3 years later, after all their rankings had gone down, we reach out to them, and they could no longer afford any sort of marketing. And so what ended up happening, I don't know, haven't checked in on them, but it's like you don't even have enough money. If you could imagine it like someone who fell off the Titanic, they spent all their money on the ship, and now they don't have any money to save themselves afterwards. So all the 20 years that this company was on or working, they stopped investing in their marketing. They stopped all of that. And now when their company was down, they couldn't even afford to save themselves. And so, I really hope that they're doing well, but it's just things like that. Eventually your referrals go down. As you stop your marketing, eventually your referrals start going down. People don't know you. Someone else opens up, takes all of the attention, and you may be stuck in another situation like that where now I don't even have enough money to save myself. I'm just here waiting as my profits start shrinking, as the money that starts, I can't even afford to do all the things that I did before. Not to mention, I couldn't even put aside $2,000-3,000 a month for an agency to do my SEO anymore. So what happens now? You're just sitting in this sinking ship. There's a big hole in the side of the ship, and you're like, I don't have money to fix that hole. Okay, so then the ship is gonna sink. And so the fifth one is if you're strapped of cash. I mean, I don't even want to say that one, because the truth is when you're strapped of cash, like an agency is someone who has all the expertise to make it all work. So maybe a better one is just you aren't ambitious. If you're not ambitious, yeah, we'll say no ambition. I don't even know if that's spelled right. I'll just correct myself on the editing software. But the truth is, if, like I just showed you, if you're not willing to save yourself in your last moments of the company falling, and you have no ambition of fixing it, then there's just not even an agency can help you. And if you're strapped for cash, honestly, I think that may be a better one. I won't even erase it. I won't even erase it. No cash. If you don't have the money for it, I've done a review of pay-per lead versus working with an agency. Working with an agency works if you're ambitious, even though you may not have all of the money there. But the truth is, if you don't have money, you don't have at least $5,000 a month for marketing. If you don't have at least $5,000 a month, I wouldn't recommend you start advertising, because the truth is you probably don't have enough money. Unless you can figure out how to run your own ads, then there's just nothing you can do. You have to just save more money. You have to figure out how, okay, every ambitious company owner who is looking to grow the company is going to pay themselves less. Realistically, you don't need to be taking all of the profit out of the company. Because if you keep taking all the profit, you're going to go into that situation where, okay, I can only spend $500 a month on ads. Well, the company's going down, and you will as well, and all the employees. So by the way, if the company goes out of business, just know, not just you are going out of a job. You're not the only one who's getting out of this, but all of your employees now lost a job. And now it's pretty hard to get a job nowadays. So it's your duty to your employees, to your family, to your employees' families to keep the company up. And if you're not willing to sacrifice, then it's just, I don't even know what to tell you. And I'll put up a video of this somewhere on the screen, but I'll give you a full tutorial of how to set up local service ads, LSA. If you've heard someone say Google LSA, it's essentially pay per phone call. So you pay per call to your business. And then if it's also a false call, so like for example, let's say a telemarketer calls through this type of advertising called Google LSA, and they weren't actually serious about getting a service, or it was just a spam call, or it was a telemarketer, you can actually refund all the money. And so I'll show you how to set that one up. It's maybe the easiest form of advertising that we can set up the management for that, where we automatically refund any leads that are false, but you're going to have to go on yourself and refund these leads. And I'll give you a full explanation and full tutorial on how to do that. Just click the video on the screen.